All right, so I'm going to talk about developing characters for both prose and screenwriting. And I'm going to try and embed a couple images in this video as well. So, quickly, this is going to be a quick overview. This is a normal class I teach, full class just on character development. But so when you're developing a protagonist, main character, this is some must-haves you clearly want to have. You want to have obviously the appearance, the age, and you want to identify what their wants are. For example, Neo in the Matrix wants to find out what the Matrix is, so you have to know the character's wants. Give as much physical as you can without just going over. You know, if there's a scar on the person's face, you know, I got a scar on one of my bald, long hair, short hair, you know, things that are irrelevant. Obviously, in screenwriting. But if you're having a hard time kickstarting your character, some quick little exercises I have here are: you want to know the characters, figure out their politics and religion to start with. Two of the things you're not supposed to talk about. Those are two windows into the character's mind and soul that are really easy ways to kickstart drawing up a character. Marital status, favorite movies, favorite books, their education level, their interests, their passions, where they work, their view on money, their economic status, the greatest and worst moments of their life thus far. Did they come from a broken family? Did they come from a family with a solid mother and father? You want to know your character like they're your sibling. And I know there are authors that take this to the extreme. They need to know the exact birthday and the hour the character was born. That's fine as well. But you want to know, at a minimum, you want to know the big things about the character, if not secondary things. You know, if they were good at sports growing up, were they bullied? Were they the bully? Their date, did they date? Were they popular or not popular? You want to know big things like that. So, I'm going to go through Star Wars, Luke Skywalker. Star Wars is one of the movies I showcase in my class, but let's just go through a couple bullet points on his character. So when we meet him in Episode 4, Star Wars, A New Beginning, he's roughly 19 years old. We know he's white, 19 years old. We know he's athletic because they mentioned he has the best shot on the outer rim. I think Biggs says that at the end. He's orphaned, we know that. He's living with his aunt and uncle. He's a daydreamer. We learn about that really in the second movie where Yoda calls him out. Seems to his religion and his politics, he seems to be kind of agnostic at first. Doesn't really know about religion until he learns about the Force. His politics would really be anti-empire, so he's pretty much like a freedom-loving, I guess you would say, libertarian. Education, I'm guessing he's homeschooled. No girlfriend that we know of. I don't know about his highs or lows. It seems that he's had a pretty lonely childhood. His clothes, he wears the same clothes throughout the whole movie pretty much until the end. So he doesn't have a lot of money, and clothes are just probably something that's more functional than something for style, because they seem to have function to them. His car is an old beat-up jalopy, a land speeder, but you could tell the thing was piecemeal together. Pets, none that I know of. So we glean a lot from the character, and I'm sure Lucas probably had a lot of things in the background that never made it onto the screen. But all that stuff is important for the story to keep moving forward. Now, as you're drawing up your character biographies, some or all of it may or may not make it into the story, but you still need to have it because it's going to dictate where your character moves, what types of decisions they make when they get into certain situations. So, Luke's wants, when we first meet him in Star Wars, he wants to know about his parents, he wants to get off Tatooine, he wants to learn about the Force after he meets Obi-Wan, he wants to become a pilot, and he wants to defeat the Empire, join the rebellion. So you want to understand why your characters act the way they do. And for instance, you may have a criminal, an antagonist or an anti-hero who's a criminal, and you want to know why he's doing what he's doing. And you could explain maybe he was brought up with gangs and that's what he was taught. You don't want to give him an excuse to be bad. He's still responsible, or she is responsible for their actions, but it's interesting to give that background so you understand the character a little more. So, other ways you can layer up a character and reveal the character without kind of telling. You want to show rather than tell. Okay? Names. Simple way to just add an extra layer to the character. For example, Skywalker. In the second movie, Yoda's basically prodding him, saying, "You're always looking to the stars and daydreaming," you know, and that kind of lines up with Skywalker. He goes on to kind of be one of the best pilots in the galaxy, help defeat the Empire, so he's kind of like, you know, arcing across the sky, I guess you would say. Or you could take the secondary character of Han Solo, the name Solo. He doesn't answer to anyone. He only answers to himself. So that's another layer to your character. Now, other ways you could show your character. And again, a lot of this is in screenwriting, but you could use it in prose as well. How does the character talk? How does, you know, I parked the car and then I went to the Sox game. Clearly the character's from Boston. It would be harder to show that in prose, but you could do it easily. How they, or you could say in, you know, Buffy and I strolled down to the wine tasting, you know. So how you deliver lines, what you say, the way you say it. How they dress. Now, if you have a character who, let's say, is wearing acid-wash jeans, that's fine if it's 1985 and they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and it's pretty clear where your character is, the time period you place him. But what if your character's wearing acid-wash jeans and it's 2010? Now we're talking a little bit differently about the character. Is the character okay? Do they think they're cool and they're not? Are they trying to relive their glory days? Is there something wrong with them? There's so many different things you could read into that. What type of suit does the businessman wear? Is it an expensive suit? Is he hurting for money? Is it a second store suit he got used? And I'll go through a couple other examples that, I think comedy is a great way to showcase this point. You have people like Dwight Schrute from that show The Office. You know, he wears short sleeve dress shirt. His glasses are funny. Everything about the guy is funny before he opens his mouth. His haircut. And again, it's just another layer to show how funny this character is. What else? You want to show rather than tell. And how you do this is put the character in situations and how they act under certain stressors or certain situations. For example, Indiana Jones, Dr. Jones, is in a classroom in some scenes with glasses on at a chalkboard, and we wouldn't know he's proficient with a whip or good with hand-to-hand combat or can use a gun or any of those things until we see him in an action scene where someone's taking the treasure away from him. So his character is revealed as you put him into certain situations. Otherwise, you might just think he's a college professor. So the greater the pressure, the deeper the choice of character, and the more you reveal about the character. I described what your character's conscious wants are. For example, Neo wants to know about the Matrix. Luke wants to get off Tatooine and defeat the Empire. But sometimes there's unconscious desires that the characters don't know about, but obviously you do as the author. For example, Han Solo in Star Wars, he wants to make as much money as possible, pay off Jabba the Hutt, and just take care of himself and Chewbacca and the Millennium Falcon. That's his conscious wants. What his unconscious wants are, he doesn't realize until the end, is that he wants to help out Luke, he wants to help out Leia, and he does help them out, and he wants to defeat the Empire. Again, that's an unconscious want that your character has. All right, come on. All right, I got a little helper now. All right, so let me just finish. And some examples of how this background information could dictate how a character or protagonist acts in certain situations. For example, how would your 17-year-old protagonist treat his girlfriend if his childhood was overshadowed by a mother who constantly told him he was a disappointment? How would this same 17-year-old boy treat his girlfriend if, growing up, he witnessed his father treat his mother like a princess? What are you doing? I'm doing a video on you. Okay, so How would this same 17-year-old boy treat the same girlfriend if he witnessed his father being abusive to his mother during arguments growing up? Or how would this same 17-year-old boy treat his girlfriend if growing up he witnessed his mother lie to his father constantly? So as you can see, the background information can really dictate how the character will react. Now, according to you, the author, he or she could react the opposite the way most people would think. It's completely up to you, but it's good to have that background information. It'll make your life a lot easier. So, to use it if you can. Now for an exercise, draw up an outfit that your character would wear. Now don't just say something like a cheap suit. Start from soup to nuts. Is it a spread collar? Is it a button-down collar? What kind of tie? Is it a bow tie, a regular tie? Is it a silk suit? Is it a wool suit? Is it a cheap suit? Does it not fit? Is it too short? Does the belt match the shoes? You can clearly tell I'm a guy. Another exercise. What does your protagonist's bedroom look like? What type of books are lying around? What type of movies are lying around? That tells volumes about your character. Is there a TV? Is there no TV? Is there art on the wall? Are there framed posters on the wall? Is it messy? Is it clean? Does he or she have a roommate? Do they live in home? Do they live in the basement? What does the room look like? And that, again, that is a good window into your character. So these are just some thoughts on how to draw up a character if you're having some trouble. All right, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feedback. Let me know what you think or how you draw up characters. All right, thanks for watching. You want to say bye?
Bye.
All right.